Jen from the Fuzzy Duckling, bringing you the third in our Learning to Draw series. Today we will be talking about drawing straight lines. This almost seems so simple that it is silly to talk about. But really, the ability to draw a fairly straight line is very important if you want to be an artist. And for something that seems like it should be easy, it really isn't. Now, I want to say right here that using a ruler when drawing is not a bad thing. Many artists use straight edges, compasses, and other templates in their artwork. But it is also good to know how to make these lines and other shapes freehand, too. So, there are two kinds of straight lines. There are long straight lines, and there are short straight lines. Short lines, let me get a piece of paper. Short lines would be like this. Nice short lines. These are usually important because they're often used in a shading style called cross-hatching. We use these a lot of times when we want to make something that looks like a shadow. There are several ways to cross-hatch, but most, if not all, use these little short lines. Let me see if I can draw a little leaf here to show you how it would be used in shadowing. So say we wanted to put a little shadow under this leaf. We might add several little short lines to make it look like it's shadowed on this side. Now we might want to make this shadow a little deeper and darker. So we would do what we call cross, which is going the opposite way with little lines. Can you see that on this? I'll show it to you up here too. You're crossing the lines you just made in the opposite way. That's why it's called cross-hatching. You're crossing lines. And see, now we have a little deeper shadow right through here. You can make it even a little deeper then now, if you don't like how deep it is, by adding a diagonal line. Start over here so you can see the difference. More cross-hatching. Let's see if we can add some down here. This is a technique that is very popular if you're using pen, where you can't shade or rub very easy. You just keep adding lines until you get it as dark as you want. And these little short lines like this are really easy to make. At least as long as you're holding your pencil right. And remember, in our other video we talked about the tripod method, and that's very important for making good sharp lines. So, why don't you get a piece of paper and try some of this cross-hatching, or find you a coloring page and add some shadows. We could make the side of this leaf a little darker, or down here on this little edge, and we could add cross-hatching here. There we go. Do we want it a little more? We can add this direction. You can keep finding new directions as long as you want to, until you get it as dark as you want. So, that's a very important technique to learn. And that one actually is fairly simple. Drawing the longer lines, though, that is a different story. Let's see, can you try to make me a long line about 5 or 6 inches long? Does it look straight, or does it look something like that? Do you see the little curve there in my line? Not very straight, is it? Or does it look something like, or... It really is hard to make a long straight line and make it come out straight all the way. Do you like what yours looks like? Or did it kind of look like my curvy ones? Maybe you're one of those, though, that made a perfectly straight line. And if you did, That is great. Just keep up the good work. But most of us just get a little wobbly when we make straight lines or try to make straight lines. So, fairly straight. The only problem with it is all these little jagged beginnings and endings aren't the greatest in most of your drawing. There is a secret to a longer straight line, and that is use your elbow instead of your wrist to control your pencil. If you look at video number 2, you'll see more examples of using your elbow. But when we use our wrist, it's like this. Notice how I just moved my hand? If I use my elbow, I move my whole hand like this. Do you notice how much smooth? Whoop, there was a crooked one. Do you notice how smoother my lines look, though? It doesn't have all those little jagged ends in it. And to be honest, these aren't as straight as I'd like. I haven't practiced enough lately. This really does take practice. But I'm using my whole arm there, from the elbow down, to draw these lines. So, practice this until it becomes easy. Now, as I noticed, I said I need to do some practice, it looks like. So I'm going to give you a few hints on how to practice and what to do here to get better at drawing straight lines. Get you some paper I bet you have laying around. Find you some good old-fashioned notebook paper. We're going to cheat at first, but you know, you need to train your muscles and your eyes how to do what you want them to do. And what we want them to do is draw a nice straight line. So let me show you. Put a little dot here at the beginning of your line, and then if you want to go, how far do you want to go? Put a dot where you want to go. This is looking ahead and knowing what you want to do before you do it. So now, start here at this dot. Get your elbow all greased up and ready to go, and just swoop across the line until you hit the dot. Now, do you think I did a straight line? Ooh, that didn't look so good there, did it? So I need to keep practicing. Swoop across. It looks like I need more practice, doesn't it? Let me switch pencils. Let's see what it's like with one of these. This might be what you're using if you don't have a mechanical pencil. Swoop across. Actually, that got a little bit better, didn't it? Just keep working down that piece of paper. You might fill 2 or 3 of these, but the more you do it, the straighter your line's going to become. Look, mine are getting better too. Now, suddenly, you might find yourself doing something like this. Especially if you get your mind off of what you're doing, then you go do something like that, and you'll be so upset at yourself. But that's okay. You just learned something from that. You have to keep your mind on what you're doing. And just go on and do the next one. Now, you may wonder why we're drawing these little dots. See, I went a little crooked there. I was talking and drawing. That's going to be a bad thing in my videos, isn't it, if I can't talk and draw at the same time? I do have trouble doing more than one thing at the same time. See, I got my mind off a little bit there. These dots are there for a reason. It shows me where I want to start. Maybe I want to end my line here. It shows me where I want to end. What I do is keep my eye on both where I'm drawing and where I'm going. It's important to know where I'm going. It's good to have something to aim at. Maybe I want it a little longer here. You remember when you learned to ride your bike? Did you find out that you did a better job when you were looking ahead to where you wanted to go, rather than looking straight down at your wheel? Usually if you look straight down at your front wheel, that's when you fall. But look ahead at your goal. And that's kind of what having these dots here does for your drawing. Ooh, hey, my hand's getting better at it. Practice really does make, well, close to perfect. Close to perfect. So, Keep doing this. Practice and practice and practice straight lines on your notebook paper. It may seem silly if anyone sees you doing this and they laugh at you. Just laugh right back because you're learning how to be a very good artist. It's like practicing the piano and playing the same scale over and over again. Now, once you've gotten pretty good at this, now the other day, I did a bunch of them. You could tell when I started today, though, that I wasn't doing so good, was I? But practice has really helped. I'm getting straighter and straighter. I was a little off there. Now, once you've practiced that and you've got pretty good at that, move on to some art paper or some copy paper. Something that doesn't have lines on it. Here, I started to do this. Take a plain piece of paper now, and let's do the same thing. You don't have the lines drawn in for you, but you can do them yourself now. So let's put my beginning dot and my ending dot. Not too bad for a straight line. Whoa! Yeah, let's try that again. See if I can do it. Now notice again, I'm swooping across from my elbow. I'm not doing this. Actually, with this little thicker lead, this isn't that bad of a line. Whoops, there I got crooked. Now I have to adjust. But this line was better. So practice that. Swooping with your elbow clear across to the dot you just drew. I went a little crooked there, didn't I? So, practice this. Make it something fun. See how many lines you can draw in 5 minutes, or how straight your lines could be, or compete with a friend and see if you can draw a straighter line now that you know the secret. So, our next video is going to be about drawing snowflakes using straight lines and little dots. So, I'll see you there. Bye-bye.